Welcome to another video tutorial from 2dgameartguru.com. Today I'm working in Affinity version 3 to show you the basics of the image trace. Ideally you're working with a source image in high resolution and with strong contrasts. Let's bring in the sample file. I drag and drop. You can also open the file. This is a 1600 by 1600 grayscale PNG image. By selecting Vector Image Trace, the image gets converted to a pixel layer, and I have the image trace pop-up, which allows me to adjust the edge threshold and the curve fitting tolerance. I'm setting those to moderate values with 25 and 50%, and some shapes are still not showing. Let's have a look at the vector shapes. I can see some issues with the main silhouette being broken. You can see the blue lines. Let's select everything and combine it with the Boolean XOR to create a single curve. I lost the shape inside one of the letters, so I'm combining just the bottom elements of the stack. That works, and then I combine the rest also with an XOR, and the result is a single curve within the group that the trace created. Selecting it with the node tool shows a rather good distribution of nodes. Let's change the setting of the image trace and try again. I use the same image and set both values in the image trace to 0. This should give me a very precise trace. It still has an issue with the silhouette. Looking at the nodes of this new trace, you can see there are a lot more than in the initial one. This might mean a better result, but also a less editable result. More nodes mean a lot more work when you want to make changes. Let's shrink the source image to half the size and another copy to 1/4 of the size and trace those. I have to rasterize after the scaling, otherwise it would still use the high-res source image. I use the same setting as before. Even when maxing out the curve fitting tolerance, the visual changes of the vector results are minimal. At this size, the medium settings, giving me a decent number of nodes, still work fine. Let's try the quarter-sized image, which is roughly 400 by 400 pixels. I'm losing some of the sharper corners. I reduce the edge threshold and the curve tolerance. After lowering it even more, I get an acceptable result with a good node distribution. The image trace worked well on these clean and highly contrasted designs. It delivered good scalable results. Smaller source images need adjustments on both settings. Without a lowered edge detection, the tool seems to round corners quite a lot. Let's try a colored version of the same design. This version is 1600 pixels square. It was exported from a vector graphic, giving it crisp and clean edges. When I change the curve fitting tolerance, I can hardly see any change. There might be minute alterations around the eyes where there is a lot of detail. Once I apply the trace, there are visible hairlines in the face between the two shapes. Smaller shapes get stacked. Bigger shapes like this need some editing. Combining a duplicate of the lower chin with the face gives me a larger face area, and the chin part overlaps, so there is no visible hairline. Around the eyes, you can see that the circles were not properly detected. Overall, it's very positive that the shapes are stacked. Missing details like the color on the cheeks or the shading under the eyebrows usually can be added manually. What the image trace won't do for you is create gradients. It simply can't. It will create colored shapes that it stacks. So I combine those shapes for the hair and manually recreate the gradient. With a little bit of editing, the result of the image trace is now fully scalable and a good representation of the bitmap source. The issues with the silhouette shape remain. The fix is the same as before. I divide the shapes and join them again. Let's try a smaller size. I reduce the image to half the size, rasterize it and trace it again. At first glance, the result is okay. It's the small details like sharp corners at the eyes, the corners of the collar or with the letters. Everything gets rounded just a little bit more. Adjusting the curve fitting tolerance shows some improvement. It's no surprise that the issue with the silhouette and the hairlines of the earlier trace remain in the smaller version and maybe increase a little bit with the smaller size. I'll try the trace on the quarter size image, shrinking this one to 400 by 400 pixels and giving the image trace another go. The detection of shapes, especially in the eyes, becomes more obvious. Shapes get blurred into each other. At this stage, I had to restart. The application became unresponsive. Let's try again on the 400 by 400 pixel image. Details in the eyes, hair and the highlights get lost, but this time around the tool is not crashing on me. Let's look at some different scenarios. Here's a photo and one of my ink drawings. I increased the contrast of the drawing by adding a curve adjustment layer. When applying the image trace on the photo with the settings that I used before, there is a lot of detail missing. I can recover a lot of that detail by reducing the edge threshold. With this many colors in the photo, the image trace creates a lot of shapes. Over 5,300 shapes are no longer editable. The issues with the ink drawing are slightly different. Some shapes are not detected at all, while others now have shades of gray. Due to the wide range of gray tones, I can't think of a quick fix. What is really missing is a way to select the number of colors. To sum it up, the image trace works great on line art images. It does not work on photographs due to the shapes created and the hairlines between those. Anything blurred will create a lot of individual shapes. What you want instead is a bitmap image with high contrast and a limited number of distinctly different colors. You definitely want to avoid gradients in your source image. These will create a large number of flat colored shapes. The image resolution is important. Larger images will more likely create good results than small-sized images. Keep those key points in mind before tracing an image to avoid being disappointed by the result. Personally, I still would rather manually trace to ensure quality and editability. For fast results or large volumes of work, the image trace is a good option. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new. If you did, please subscribe to my channel, leave a like, and I will see you again soon.